of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, it is by combined and patient effort that all good work is done. For the work's steadiness and regularity are as necessary as skill. Whatever you do it very carefully. If mistakes were not to be effaced, then never the world could reach salvation. There is no fire that can be compared with passion, no misfortune equal to hatred, no misery comparable with the agitation of the mind. With my blessing, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo from the book Basis of Yoga, Chapter 5, topic Physical Consciousness, Subconscient, Sleep and Dream, Illness. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, our object is the supramental realization, and we have to do whatever is necessary for that or towards that under the conditions of each stage. At present, the necessity is to prepare the physical consciousness for that a complete equality and peace and a complete dedication free from personal demand or desire in the physical and the lower vital parts are the things to be established. Other things can come in their proper time. What is needed now is the psychic opening in the physical consciousness and the constant presence and guidance there. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, what you describe is the material consciousness. It is mostly subconscient, but the part of it that is conscious is mechanical, inertly moved by habits or by the forces of the lower nature. Always repeating the same unintelligent and unenlightened movements, it is attached to the routine and established rule of what already exists, unwilling to change, unwilling to receive the light or obey the higher force, or if it is willing, then it is unable. Or if it is able, then it turns the action given to it by the light or the force into a new mechanical routine and so takes out of it all soul and life. It is obscure, stupid, indolent, full of ignorance and inertia, darkness and slowness of tamas. It is this material consciousness into which we are seeking to bring first the higher, divine or spiritual light, power and ananda, and then the supramental truth which is the object of our yoga. It is the most physical consciousness of which you have become aware. It is like that in almost everyone. When one gets fully or exclusively into it, one feels it to be that of an animal, either obscure and restless or inert and stupid, and in either condition not open to the divine. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, it is only by bringing the force and higher consciousness into it that it can fundamentally alter. When these things show themselves, do not be upset by their emergence, but understand that they are there to be changed. Here, as elsewhere, quiet is the first thing needed. To keep the consciousness quiet, not to allow it to get agitated and in turmoil. Then, in the quiet, to call for the force to clear up all this obscurity and change it. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, at the mercy of the external sounds and external body sensations, no control to drop the ordinary consciousness at will, the whole tendency of the being away from yoga, all that is unmistakably applicable to the physical mind and the physical consciousness when they isolate themselves, as it were, and take up the whole front, pushing the rest into the background. When a part of the being is brought forward to be worked upon for a change, this kind of all occupying emergence, the dominant activity of that part as if it alone existed, very usually happens, and unfortunately, it is always what has to be changed. The undesirable conditions, the difficulties of that part which rise first and obstinately hold the field and recur. In the physical, it is inertia, obscurity, inability that come up, and the obstinacy of these things. The only thing to do in this unpleasant phase is to be more obstinate than the physical inertia and to persist in a fixed endeavor. Steady persistency without any restless struggle to get a wide and permanent opening made even in this solid rock of obstruction. Our Lord Aurobindo says these variations in the consciousness during the day are a thing that is common to almost everybody in the sadhana. The principle of oscillation, relaxation, relapse to a normal or a past lower condition from the higher state that is experienced but not yet perfectly stable becomes very strong and marked when the working of the sadhana is in the physical consciousness. For there is an inertia in the physical nature that does not easily allow the intensity natural to the higher consciousness to remain constant. The physical is always sinking back to something more ordinary. The higher consciousness and its force have to work long and come again and again before they can become constant and normal in the physical nature. Do not be discouraged or disturbed by these variations or this delay, however long and tedious. Remain carefully only to be quiet, always with an inner quietude and as open as possible to the higher power, not allowing any really adverse conditions to get hold of you. If there is no adverse wave, then the rest is only a persistence of imperfections which all have in abundance. That imperfection and persistence the force must work out and eliminate, but for the elimination, time is needed. Our Lord Aurobindo says, you should not allow yourself to be discouraged by any persistence of the moments of the lower vital nature. There are some that tend always to persist and return until the whole physical nature is changed by the transformation of the most material consciousness. Till then, their pressure recurs, sometimes with a revival of the force, sometimes more dully as a mechanical habit. Take from them all life force by refusing any mental or vital ascent. Then the mechanical habit will become powerless to influence the thoughts and acts and will finally cease. The Mooladhar is the center of the physical consciousness proper, and all below in the body is the sheer physical, which as it goes downward becomes increasingly subconscient. But the real seat of the subconscient is below the body, as the real seat of the higher consciousness, superconscient, is above the body. At the same time, the subconscient can be felt anywhere, felt as something below the movement of the consciousness and in a way supporting it from beneath or else drawing the consciousness down towards itself. The subconscient is the main support of all habitual movements, especially the physical and lower vital movements. When something is thrown out of the vital or physical, It is very usually goes down into the subconscious and remains there as if in seed and comes up again when it can. That is the reason why it is so difficult to get rid of habitual vital moments or to change the character. For supported or refreshed from the source, persevered in this matrix, your vital moments, even when suppressed or repressed, surge up again and recur. The action of the subconscious is irrational, mechanical, repetitive. It does not listen to reason or mental will. It is only by bringing the higher light and force into it, it can change. These are the words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo.
I open the wide eye of solitude to uncover the voiceless rapture of my bliss, where in a pure and exquisite hush it lies, motionless in its slumber of ecstasy, resting from the sweet madness of the dance, out of whose beat the throb of hearts was born. Breaking the silence with appeal and cry, a hymn of adoration tireless climbed, a music beat of winged uniting soul. Then all the woman yearningly replied, thy embrace, which rends the living knot of pain, thy joy, O Lord, in which all creatures breathe, thy magic flowing waters of deep love, thy sweetness give to me for earth and